Well, greetings one and all, and welcome back to another video here with your host Andrew. Today you join me for a review on this pen here, which is the Platinum Century 3776 Begonia with an ultra extra fine nib. Yeah, not just a fine nib or an extra fine, ultra extra fine. Yeah, so it should be pretty interesting to see how this one actually turns out today. I could give you a spoiler alert, but I'd really want you to actually just hang around and actually watch today's content. Now, I do have to thank Cult Pens for very kindly loaning this pen out for a review, and I have to say, I do like it. I like it a lot. But what we're going to do today is something a little bit different. I'm not going to be doing my usual spiel with pretty much everything on my face. I'm actually going to be overlaying some close-ups of this pen and doing my usual sort of spinning and turning and hand modelling of the pen. And I'll be sharing my thoughts over the top of a drawing video. So you can have a mixture of different shots overlaid on top of each other. Why am I doing this? Well, because I just want to try and experiment. It's my channel. If you don't like how the content's turned out, just let me know. I can always revert back to my old methods. But I think everyone can become guilty of staying quite stagnant with their own channel. So this is just a way of experimenting, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. So what I'd like to do now, without further ado, is invite you to come over to the table, sit back, watch and enjoy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so what we're going to do is redo the crane today, as I mentioned before. Hopefully it will turn out even better still, that we will wait and see. So let's get on with the review itself. Right, so Begonia. It's a region in France famous for its idyllic landscapes, stews and wine. So how does this region have a relationship with the 3776? A good question, and one I guess has more to do with the colour rather than its culinary delights. Begonia translates to Burgundy in English, which just so happens to share the same colour as the 3776 and the aforementioned wine. Having said that, the Platinum also pays homage to a number of other French regions, drinks and such forth with other pen models, particularly with the Nice, which is based in the south of France, and the Chartreuse Bleu, which is a lovely little town with a fantastic cathedral and some very beautiful blue stained glass windows. Of course there is the drink, Chartreuse, and that unfortunately is green, so I'm not sure that the blue would actually marry up with that. Anyway, let's talk about the aesthetics. So this pen's design will divide opinions. On one side you'll have the demonstrator posse, and on the other, well, you'll have the more classically minded conservative folk who probably feel that anything other than the black pen is too adventurous. But I feel that both sides will agree that this pen does deserve its rightful title of next level pen. Why, you may ask? Well, let's have a look at this price point, and I think that will make it very apparent. £111 to £190. There isn't a huge amount of gold nib options at this sort of price point. You've got a Lamy 2000, you've got the Sailor Pro Gear Slim, you can get some standard gold nibs as well to put onto other pens. So there are options, but not a huge amount of readily available pens in this price point. Of course, you know, you could start looking into steel nib pens, which can have some prettier designs on there, but to be honest, within the gold sector, not a lot of options. Okay, now let's have a look at the pen. This pen is finished with a semi-translucent dark red resin and is adorned with gold trim and along with a clip. There's a real marriage between classical design in the cigar shape with a more contemporary demonstrator look, and it's this fusion that I particularly enjoy. Now, if we uncap the pen, we are presented with a very sleek nib design, adorning a stylized image of Mount Fuji. And around those shoulders, you can see those double lines, and just underneath that, we've got the company branding with Platinum and the nib designation as well. And it's here that I feel that you know this pen means business, because it is a slightly larger nib to what you may be potentially used to. Okay, it's not a Mont Blanc or a Pelican, but I feel that its modern approach and its branding on there will not disappoint. Now, are there prettier pens at this price point? Well, that's always a tough question to answer, partly because one, we are now in what one would consider a higher price tier, and this is where personal opinions will become more apparent. And secondly, there's not a whole load of other gold nibbed pen options either, as I mentioned before. So from my viewpoint, yes, there are prettier pens, because you could maybe have a look at some of the steel nib options with some of the more swirly acrylics. And that's fine, but what this pen does do really well is balance style, practicality and reliability all into one. And it's this practicality and reliability I want to talk to you about next. Okay, so the pen is neither large or small, and I like that. In fact, I love this pen size a lot. Weighing in at just over 20 grams and a section diameter of roughly 11 millimeters, I feel this pen will suit the hands of many. Of course, if your hands are particularly large, this may not be your cup of ink. But of course, for the masses, this pen will be comfy. On top of this, you can post the cap, and you have a choice of cartridges or converter. Unfortunately, in the UK, converters are not shipped with this pen, and this is a slight point of contention, especially for a pen that costs this much. Platinum, if you're listening to this, please do include cartridge converters with your pens, especially when you're paying over £100. In fact, I feel that a cartridge converter should be just supplied with a pen, full stop. Anyway, that's a rant for another day. Let's have a look at the writing. Okay, so in terms of writing and drawing with this pen, you're going to either love or hate it. There's no getting around the fact that this ultra extra fine nib won't be for everyone. But if you have particularly small handwriting or you're an artist, I feel this pen will be worth your while. Why? Well, the nib is exceptionally well tuned and the line consistency is fantastic. Yes, the pen is slightly on the drier side, but one can expect that with such a fine nib. This does have its obvious advantages in that you have a much wider choice of papers to write on. On the downside, being that you won't really enjoy the shading qualities of inks which you would get with wider nibs. In regards to flexibility of the nib, don't even bother. This is stiffer than a set of nails made out of tungsten reinforced with steel. But there is hope. Platinum does offer a soft fine and soft medium for all you flexi writers out there. Still, I love how much control I have with this nib, and I adore how thin the line looks with my art, which I'm working on. Would I be crazy for asking for a 0.1mm pen nib? Maybe, but that would be my dreams. Okay, so now let's give you my final thoughts and feelings on this pen. As always, my thoughts are my own and are not influenced by others, and of course you're free to agree or disagree with my overall thoughts. The pen is wonderfully presented with its gift box, and I feel that this is the first thing that will strike you, especially if you're upgrading from, say, like a Lamy Safari. So, what do I make of this pen? I love it. I think that this pen offers a lot of money, despite that it doesn't come with a converter, which is unforgivable. However, it does more than make up for that loss with the gain you get in control with writing. And it really holds up to its own in this price bracket of £100 to £200. So that really leaves it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. What we're going to do is continue doing this drawing, and again, I'll just invite you just to sit back and relax. Till then, stay safe and goodbye for now.